Yo, it's your boy Bernard, and welcome to another episode of the Angry Blerd podcast, where I'll be discussing everything nerdy that has caught my eye this week. It was bound to happen, we had a brief break from it for the past 2 weeks, but we have to give a rest in peace to Greg Hildebrant. So, Greg Hildebrant passed away at the age of 85 years old. He was a movie poster artist. He also did covers for Marvel in the early 90s. He also did the trading cards for Marvel, DC, Dungeons and Dragons. He also did the album cover for Black Sabbath, Mob Rules, and mini LPs for the Trans-Siberian Orchestra. So one of the first things that, a lot of people recognize his art from is he did the UK release of the Star Wars poster, which is the one where Luke's holding the lightsaber up. You see Vader in the foreground, and Leia is like by Luke's leg. And no Han Solo on this cover, surprisingly. I don't even think Han Solo was on the original cover, but you got 3PO and R2-D2 in the background as well. I don't believe there was a cause of... Oh, never mind. He... was dealing with a side effect from heart medication. But his brother, Tim, also did art as well. So, but yeah, I don't believe an official cause of death was given. It might just be, due to the medication, unfortunately. But yeah, he passed away on Halloween, like I said, at the age of 85 years old. So we definitely have to give a rest in peace to him. Oh, he did the Sword of Shannara covers, Magic the Gathering. He did Harry Potter illustrations. Oh, he did them for Wizards of the Coast. Rest in peace to the legend that is Greg Hildebrant. So, I got a few movie stories. These are a bunch of small stories. I'm gonna have more major issues, more movie stories sprinkled in between. Let's go ahead and get into it. So, first bit. We are getting another video game movie, and that is House of the Dead. I believe House of the Dead was already a movie. Once upon a time, I'm double checking. Yeah, 2003. I know I'm not crazy. But yeah, there was a House of the Dead that came out in 2003. I don't remember who directed it. Let's go to... Oh, Yu Bo directed it. Oh, God, Yu Bo. If you ever see his name attached to a movie, do not watch it. He is one of the worst directors ever. And he likes to do video game movies. He has done House of the Dead. He has done Alone in the Dark. What else? Didn't he do Blood? I feel like he did the first Bloodborne. But yeah, his movies are not good. So yeah, House of the Dead, Alone in the Dark, Blood Rain. Oh, he did both Blood Rains. He did Blood Rain Deliverance, Alone in the Dark 2, Far Cry, Blood Rain, The Third Reich, In the Name of the King 2, In the Name of the King 3.
Move this man!
Yeah, I'm just So, like I said, he is the worst director when it comes to the video game movies. But now we're getting the second worst director of video game movies. And does anyone know who that is? I'll give y'all a minute. Just sit around and think about it. Anybody figure it out? If you figured it out, please let me know in the comments of the video. I might turn this into a clip. I'm not sure yet. But Paul W.S. Anderson is directing this bitch.
This guy stinks!
So, don't know if anybody remember who Paul W.S. Anderson is. So, Paul W.S. Anderson has directed such hits as Resident Evil, Resident Evil 2, Resident Evil Afterlife, Resident Evil Retribution, Resident Evil The Final Chapter, Monster Hunter, Event Horizon, 95 Mortal Kombat. I'll give him a little bit of grace with that one because we were kids and we didn't know a good Mortal Kombat movie. Hell, we still don't know a good Mortal Kombat movie. Soldier. God, I forgot about Soldier. Pompeii. Forgot this was even a fucking movie. Who makes a movie about Pompeii? He's also got a movie coming out next year called In the Lost Lands, which is based on a short story by George R.R. Martin. And of course, it stars his wife, Mila Jovovich, who was in every single movie he's done. Was she in Death Race? No, she was not in Death Race. Was she in Pompeii? I feel like Kit Harington was in Pompeii. Yes, Kit Harington was in Pompeii. I know I wasn't tripping. Like I said, I forgot that movie even existed. But he's done 3 Death Race sequels that have gone straight to video, but he produced them. He didn't direct them, thank goodness. But it's just like, we don't need Paul W.S. Anderson getting back into video game movies. Like, based off of his track record alone, like, I know Monster Hunter came out during the pandemic, but let's see how much movie made $47 million with a $60 million budget. The movie is not getting a sequel. The man is not a good director. And I usually don't shit on people, but how can you fuck up Resident Evil? Oh, he also directed Alien vs. Predator. But still, just stick to the script of the game. You can deviate from it a little bit, but don't start making new characters like Alice. Because Alice, well, we have, 8 solid, straight to franchise Resident Evil games, and guess what? Alice still has not been introduced. And like, who did Michelle Rodriguez play? Oh, Rain Ocampo. See, the first movie has nobody in it who was an actual Resident Evil character besides the Red Queen. I don't even think Wesker's in the first movie. But it's just like, ugh. I don't get it. But fuck it. Yeah, keep Wes Anderson, Paul W.S. Anderson away from movies. Wes Anderson is somebody completely different. But we also got a announcement for the next Jumanji movie. Fuck Variety and everyone else who's calling this Jumanji 3, because this is Jumanji 4. We're just not going to act like Jumanji with Robin Williams doesn't exist. It even exists in the new franchise. They mentioned Alan Parrish in the first movie of the rebooted franchise. Welcome to the jungle. So we got a release date, like I said, for Jumanji 4, and that will be coming out in theaters December 11th, 2026. So I'm guessing the reason why this is coming out in 2026 is because of The Rock's busy work schedule. I don't think Karen Gillan is like on any TV shows at the moment. Kevin Hart, he might be getting ready to go on tour. Who knows what Jack Black is doing? Because I think Tenacious D is done. Because The Rock's got Red One coming out. Is it this year or is it next year? Because I feel like that movie should have come out. That movie has just had all types of scheduling issues and whatnot. Red One comes out. Oh, okay, yeah, this year. In 2 weeks, actually. So I might be reviewing that. But, yeah, so Jumanji 4, December 11th, 2026. Also, the news... so there's a horror game called Outlast that I've never played. At first, I thought this was based off the comic Outlast. But this is being turned into a movie. This is a 2013 first-person psychological survivor that was published by Red Barrels Games. JT Petty is attached to write the script. That's all the information that was given. Lionsgate will be releasing it. I'm looking up JT Petty to see if he has done any movies that I have ever seen. Apparently he worked on the video game as well. So apparently he does like a lot of video games. He did Splinter Cell Chaos Theory. He did the script for the Batman Begins game, Prince of Persia Warrior Within, Splinter Cell Pandora Tomorrow, Splinter Cell itself, Batman Vengeance. He did a movie called The Burrowers and something else called Blood Red Death. Hellbenders. Yeah, so video game writer getting into script writing for films. Oh, so the big news. The one that, that one's, would you say it broke the internet? I don't know, but a few days ago, well, about 2.5 weeks ago, Marlon Wayans was on the Breakfast Club, and he was promoting his current tour, and he was talking about collaboration with the rest of his siblings. And Charlemagne, Envy, and Lauren LaRosa were trying to get it out of him. They said documentaries, they said tours, and everything else except for, the one thing that everyone kind of thought that we were going to get, but not really, because I thought it was going to be a doc, really, because think about it, they've been in comedy for the past 40 years. But the Wayans brothers are back in the horror parody business. So they will be releasing a 6 scary movie. A lot of people don't acknowledge 3 through 5. So I'm saying Scary Movie 3. So Sean, Marlon, and Keenan, who all worked on the first 2 movies while Keenan directed them, are the 3 that are coming back. And this is done through Miramax and Paramount. Like I said, it will start filming next year, and this is supposed to be a reboot apparently. So they actually put out a release from Deadline. They said, we couldn't be more excited to be part of the new scary movie and work with each other again. This is a franchise we created more than 20 years ago. We remember people laughing in the aisles and hoping to see that happen again. We look forward to working with Jonathan Glickman and his team at New Miramax to bring these laughs to theaters where they belong. And it's a double reunion. So I'm very excited. I wonder what all they're gonna put in there, because Marlon did a haunted house, so he's added a lot more of the more recent horror movies to those. Like a Haunted House 2 had Annabelle in it. I'm trying to look this up real quick. A Haunted House. Trying to see what will it get. Will it tell me the parodies? No, it won't. But okay. But yeah, I definitely remember A Haunted House 2 having Annabelle in it. So, can't wait for it. Hopefully, it'll be ready by maybe summer of 2026. Because that's usually a good time for like comedies and everything. So, summer. So, let's get into the real bit of movie news. And I saw this and I'm just like, so y'all hate Star Wars the way it is now, and a lot of y'all are the same people who are like roughly in their 50s and possibly 60s who watched the original trilogy in theaters and shat on the prequel trilogy. So let's talk about the prequel trilogy for a second, okay? Because George Lucas was doing an interview in celebration of Episode 1, The Phantom Menace, because it's 25th anniversary. And he originally conceived the notion that Qui-Gon Jinn was going to be Obi-Wan. And who else was talking about this? Was it Daniel McCraig? Not McCraig, McCaig. Yeah, it was, this is actually on the Star Wars website if you guys want to read it. Ian McCaig. Yeah. Who also was the storyboard and concept artist for Episode 1. So he said, it's interesting how things evolved. For a time, the older Jedi was named Obi-Wan and the younger Jedi was named Qui-Gon. It was very poignant at the end as Obi-Wan dies and Qui-Gon defeats Darth Maul and stays with his master as he passes away. He not only takes on his master's quest, but he also takes a name. Qui-Gon becomes Obi-Wan, and that's why you see Alec McGuinness in A New Hope, and he puts down his hood and goes, Obi-Wan. Now that's a name I've not heard, because that's not Obi-Wan. He's Qui-Gon. And right at the end, George decided to change it. So I'm pretty sure this would have made everybody go nuts, because it's like, why would you do that? And like, I saw people reacting to this online. They were like, you can keep George Lucas away from Star Wars, but y'all want him back in Star Wars. So you need to make up your mind. Which one is it? Should he stay or should he go? I mean, should he come back or should he stay away? But I was just like, I don't know, man. But they also revealed that they would have had to remaster and edit some of the original trilogy like they did with like the updated graphics and putting Anakin, Hayden Christensen in as the Force Ghost for Anakin, and they would have had to edit like Obi-Wan calling Vader calling Obi-Wan. He would have been like, no, my name is Qui-Gon. So yeah, I saw that and I was just like, some things don't need to be fucked with. So I'm glad he didn't do that in retrospect. So it's a very good thing that he said, nah, this ain't gonna work. But let's talk about things that are working. All right. So don't know if you guys saw it, but I made a post on the Angry Blerd social media, by the way. Go check that out at Angry Blerd Pod on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok. So it got leaked like a day in advance. But let's talk about the Disney Plus Marvel slate for the end of this year and all of 2025. So season 3 of What If will be coming out December 22nd on a weekly basis. Your friendly neighborhood Spider-Man, which I was arguing with some dumbass on Reddit who said this was coming out in November because he listened to Scoopers and there was no proof that this was coming out in November. It will be coming out on January 27th. Daredevil, Born Again, the one that everybody is excited for. 2 9-episode seasons. Frank Castle is back. The villain is going to be Muse. This follows up where Echo left off with Wilson Fisk running for mayor. That is March 4th. June 24th. It's been, well, at this point, it'll be 3 years since we've seen her. Riri Williams is back as Ironheart. All right. And I think I said the date, June 24th. Eyes of Wakanda. This is a 4-episode limited series that Ryan Coogler is doing, obviously as a prequel or integral to the Black Panther films. This will be out on August 6th. Marvel Zombies. Just in time for spooky season of next year, October 25th. Mahershala Ali is either in that or he's in What If as Blade. So that might be the only time we get to see Mahershala, because as I told you guys last week, the movie has been delayed indefinitely. And Christmas, we got Wonder Man, where everybody's all pissed off about Wonder Man being black. So it's just like, really? That's what you're mad about? Don't forget, also, if you have Disney Plus, November 12th, Deadpool and Wolverine will be available to stream. What should I talk about next? So we got an update on Gen V. They have actually finished wrapping season 2. Unfortunately, we won't get to see Chance Perdomo anymore. But they have added 7 cast members for this season. Kia King, who is on Yellow Jackets and Showtime, has joined the cast, as well as Stephen Kalin from Warrior Strong, Julia Nope from In the Dark, Stacey McGungle from The Hour Has 22 Minutes, Tate Fletcher from The Mandalorian, Wyatt Dorian from Erie Hall, and George Murphy from a TV show has called The Q's have reoccurring roles. There really hasn't been much given on what season 2 will be about. Yeah, I'm just skimming through this article real quick. But yeah, that's all they announced, that, we have 7 new cast members. So hopefully we'll get a trailer sometime at either the end of December, maybe the beginning of January, because Gen V, I'm guessing it's probably going to either start, it might be after Invincible, because Invincible comes back in February. So I don't think they're going to drop it in January, honestly. So they'll probably drop this whenever Invincible wraps up, like mid-March, on a weekly basis. First 2 episodes in week 1. Then after that, we go to our weekly basis, our weekly drops. Then we'll have like maybe a breather month or so for season 5 of The Boys. And speaking of breathers, I'm going to take a break and go get a bottle of water so y'all can listen to this ad for Dubby because I'm starting to get cotton mouth. This episode is brought to you by Dubby. Dubby gives you focus and energy without the crash and jitters. It has no sugar, fillers, or artificial dyes. Mix 1 packet or scoop into 8 or 12 ounces of water. Stir or shake well. Some powderiness is normal, and it has all the important vitamins. So this has vitamin C, B3, B6, and B12. And it's made from coffee fruit extract. So drink it and go conquer a task, and go to Dubby.gg and use my promo code Angry Blerd 10 at checkout to save 10% on your order. That's Dubby.gg with promo code Angry Blerd 10. All right, and I'm back. So for those of you who collect Legos, I've got some good news for you. Lego is releasing the X-Mansion from X-Men, obviously. If you have Lego Insiders, you have early access to pre-order this from now until the day that this comes out, the 3rd. So you had 3 days to do it. But for all of us regular folks who don't have Lego Insiders, because it might be a paid membership deal or something like that, I don't know. November 4th is when, the general audience can pre-order it. And this bad boy is $329.99. So if you are a Lego Insider member, you get 2,145 Lego points. And this Lego set has a whopping 3,093 pieces. And just like every other building in Lego history, it comes in sections, and you can obviously open it to explore the house. So it has the danger room in it, the Cerebro. I think everyone has their own individual rooms. I don't know if those are individual rooms or if those are just like living room areas or monitor rooms or whatever. But you do get several X-Men with it, as well as a Sentinel. So you get a Sentinel, Wolverine, Iceman, Rogue, Professor X, Cyclops, Jean Grey, who has a blue face for some reason, Bishop, Storm, Magneto, and Gambit. Like I said, it looks nice. I'll post the pictures. The backyard has a basketball court. Yeah, I don't know why they put like a blue face on Jean, because she doesn't turn blue when she uses her powers, but whatever. All right, let's talk about Tom Cruise real quick. So, as we all know, Tom Cruise has had a nice, lofty relationship with Paramount in the past 40 years of his career. He has said, you know what? Since Top Gun Maverick made you guys a lot of money, and that was a movie I did back in the 1980s. Let's do another movie that, I did like way back in the day when I was like in my 20s. They're doing a sequel to Days of Thunder. And I don't know why, because if you go and look on boxofficemojo.com, Days of Thunder was not a big hit. Like, the movie had a budget of $60 million in 1990, and it only made $157 million. So that's what, $37 million profit? But I mean, I don't know. I guess so. I mean, Tom Cruise is 62 years old, so I don't know what. When is he going to retire? That's the question. But it was once supposed to be a TV show for Paramount Plus, and Tom said, no, I only do movies. But he's also doing a movie with Alejandro Inarritu, the guy who directed The Revenant for Warner Brothers, and he's also supposed to be doing a movie with Doug Liman for Universal that's set in space. So Tom Cruise might be going to space. One of the things I want to talk about is Mission Impossible 8. So Paramount is attempting to put at least $400 million into this budget. And they want to make this the last Mission Impossible movie. But Tom Cruise said, no, I'm not saying goodbye to Ethan Hunt just yet. And honestly, it feels like it should be time for him to say goodbye to Ethan Hunt. Because when did the first Mission Impossible come out? I want to say like 93. Might have been 95, honestly. Mission Impossible 1. Why are these not in order? 96. So it's about time to, hang it up, Tom. But he also was on record saying that, he wants to keep making Mission Impossibles until he's in his 80s because he wants to beat Harrison Ford since Harrison Ford came back and did Indiana Jones, whatchamacallit and the whatchamacallit. I almost said The Last Crusade. Damn, I almost said Kingdom of the Crystal Skull. What is the last Indiana Jones movie called? Dial of Destiny. But I don't know. I liked Dead Reckoning Part 1. Or just Dead Reckoning now because I don't think it's... I don't know what the hell they're going to name the next one. Hopefully it's good because the last one barely made a profit last time I checked. Dead Reckoning Part 1. Yeah, no, it didn't make a profit. I mean, if you go by gross, which was 291 million, the box office was 570. What's that? No, that's about 180. No, not 180. I am so bad at math. So it made $279 million if you go by gross, but if you do net, the net was $219 million, and that would have been $351 million. So I don't know. But Tom, you're starting to milk it like the Fast and Furious franchise. So let it go. Next story. This might be the last story until I get into my reviews. We got an update on Lanterns. And that is Garrett Dillahunt, who I've never heard of before. I might have seen him in a few things, but I do not recognize that name whatsoever. He is joining the cast of Lanterns. Apparently he was on Fear the Walking Dead. Also, Kelly Macdonald is joining the cast as well. I don't think I've seen Kelly Macdonald. She's a Scottish actress. Apparently she was in Brave, so I've seen Brave. I actually have it. It's on the shelf. That might be the first and only thing I've seen her in. Well, apparently she had a role in The Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. I saw that. Didn't see Nanny McPhee. Okay, she was Helena Ravenclaw in The Deathly Hallows Part 2. She was in No Country for Old Men. Anna Karina. Yeah, so she reprised her role as Merida from Brave and Ralph Breaks the Internet. So I haven't seen her in that much stuff, but she will also be a part of this show. I don't think they announced who she's going to be playing, honestly, because I haven't seen like who she would be playing, because I don't even think it's on the Wikipedia. Yeah, it's not on her Wikipedia. Let me go to news real quick. Kelly Macdonald. She will be playing Sheriff Carrie, a no-nonsense woman deeply devoted to her family and close-knit town. Her resilience shaped by a complex past has hardened her resolve and anchors when her community's secrets begin to surface. Garrett Dillahunt will be playing a modern cowboy named William Macon, who is a self-righteous, conspiracy-minded man who masks his ruthless ambition behind a charming and calculated facade. So yeah, this is basically True Detective in space at this point, because what the fuck is this? I'm honestly over it. And that was the pitch that they made for the show. I believe James Gunn even said that when he announced that it was being made. I believe he said, "Think True Detective in space," but don't quote me on that. I would have to look it up and see if I can find a sound clip, but I don't know. I'm just like, come on, what are y'all doing? And speaking of what are y'all doing, cue the spoiler alert. So we're gonna talk about a few dumb things, okay? And by a few dumb things, I mean Venom, The Last Dance. So directed by Kelly Marcel. This is her first time directing, with a story by Tom Hardy and Kelly Marcel, and the screenplay is written by Kelly Marcel. So the movie stars Tom Hardy, Chiwetel Ejiofor, Juno Temple, Reese Ifans, Stephen Graham, Peggy Lou, Clark Bacco, Alana Albuck, and Andy Serkis, and Cristo Fernandez. So we pick up where we left off in Spider-Man No Way Home, with Eddie and Venom going home after, the bartender explains, what happened in the MCU. But here's the difference, guys. In Spider-Man No Way Home, Eddie left a bit of the symbiote. So Sony decided to retcon that and be like, hey, we're going to send Eddie back to his Earth, and when he's leaving, he's going to give the bartender a coin, and a bit of the symbiote's going to get stuck on that. So the chances of Tom Hardy getting the symbiote, slim to none now. Okay? Slim to none. So Eddie is down in Mexico after the events of what happened in Venom and Carnage, because now he is a fugitive. Kills a bunch of people who are dogfighters, and is trying to get to New York. Meanwhile, up in space, Noel, the creator of the symbiotes, who I'm sorry, Donnie, I love you as a writer. You created Noel. You caped for this movie as much as Tom Cruise caped for The Flash, saying that it's such an amazing movie. Noel just sat in space, and they like promoted this like he was going to be the big bad in the movie. But guess what? He's not. So he's sending his xenophages throughout the multiverse to find a codex. And what is a codex, do you ask? A codex is a key that is meant to keep Noel in his prison, that was created when Eddie died in the first Venom movie, which I fucking forgot happened, and was like a permanent bonding source for him and Venom. So Venom's talking about he wants to go see the Statue of Liberty. Eddie was trying to get to a reporter in New York to clear his name, so they literally hitch a flight to New York, while all in full symbiote, hitched to the plane. A xenophage comes down and attacks them. They fight it. It gets grinded up in the plane's engine. Somehow the plane did not crash, but Eddie and Venom had to escape. So Eddie's wandering the desert now. He's got Area 55 looking for him. That's where Juno Temple comes into this movie as Dr. Teddy Payne, and Chiwetel Ejiofor as Commander Rick Strickland, who works at Area 55 but works for a shadow organization called Imperium. Shout out to Gunther and Ludwig Kaiser. That is a wrestling reference for you guys. They are in a staple called Imperium. So then they basically, Venom and Eddie are basically walking through, I don't know where the fuck they are because they didn't say. Let's just say the woods. So they come across the Moon family, that's where Reese Fonz comes in. Everyone's like, oh shit, it's Doc Connors. Nope, his name is Martin Moon. He is a hippie and an alien enthusiast. And they offer him a ride to Vegas because they're going to Area 51 since Area 51 is about to be decommissioned. And Teddy Payne works for Area 55, where they have all the symbiotes from the first Venom movie. So like last year, trying to think of all the names of the symbiotes. Trying to think. I'm really trying to think. I'm having a brain fart on so many damn symbiotes. Anyway, Venom is explaining to Eddie that the xenophage can only track him if he's fully using the symbiote. So he can use portions of it, like, make a fist, punch somebody in the face, things like that. And they make their way to Vegas. What was his name again? Martin Moon gives Eddie $20. And they're like, oh, Venom's like, oh, I've been watching Rain Man, so I can read cards and stuff like that. So they beat up a guy, take his suit, waste all the money, and we bump into none other than Mrs. Chen, who is in Vegas. And Mrs. Chen has cleaned up and this casino to the point where they gave her like the VIP suite, and she's got like an open tab at the bar. So she convinces Eddie to come back up to clean up, and her and Venom dance. And this is where the movie got dumb. You literally said that the xenophage can only track you if you're in full symbiote. So they put this dumb dance number in there just for the hell of it. Just for the symbiote to come and Eddie get caught by Strickland and his crew. After Eddie killed some of his crew, and the xenophage killed some of his crew. So then we also find out that Peter Mulligan, is it Peter Mulligan or is it Patrick Mulligan, who I actually liked from the comics, did not like him in the second movie, died, and He somehow didn't get a codex, but they attached the symbiote to him. Oh, that's why, because they didn't have a symbiote in the second one. But they attached the Toxin symbiote to him, who looks nothing like Toxin, by the way. Toxin is the offspring of Carnage. So Toxin is red at the top and like black at the bottom. But they gave him like this weird symbiote that's all green and like doesn't have legs. So the Xenophage actually sneaks into Area 55, and all havoc breaks loose. And Toxin also explained to Strickland and Payne that Null is coming, and the only way Null can get here is if he gets the codex. So the only way you can get rid of the codex is to either kill the symbiote or kill the host. So Strickland's about to kill Eddie, but Sadie Christmas wears Venom. She sneaks and wears the Venom symbiote and gives it back to Eddie, and the Xenophage comes in, destroys Area 55. Meanwhile, the Moon family has snuck their way onto Area 51, and they're on an old outpost where the shit hits the fan. And I really thought the whole family was about to get symbiotes, but no, a bunch of random people who work at Area 55 got symbiotes. They all died except for Christmas. Teddy Payne had a symbiote, and she got super speed, and they gave us a bunch of bullshit backstory about her brother being struck by lightning when they were at the beach, and she can't use her right arm because they were holding hands when she got struck by lightning, so now she can use both her hands. Eddie and Strickland work together to take down the Xenophage. Meanwhile, Null sends a bunch more Xenophages to Area 51, and all chaos breaks loose, and Venom sacrifices himself by kicking Eddie out and absorbing all the Xenophages and basically boiling them all down in a vat of acid along with himself. Eddie goes to New York while Memories by Maroon 5 plays very solemnly, and we get this flashback montage of the past two movies that have started in 2018, only to find out that it's been a whole year in Venom time since Eddie has had the symbiote. The bartender from No Way Home, like I said, he played the same version of himself on Eddie's Earth. He got taken by Area 55. Oh, Eddie gets a full pardon, by the way. He leaves, and there's a little bit of Venom left that Strickland took from the bar that lives. It like latches itself to a roach. And that was basically the full breakdown of that movie. So let's go ahead and get into the shit of this movie and the rules that it broke, that it established. All right, so Venom 1, if you guys remember, but the whole ordeal of the symbiote literally crossing across state lines, country borders and whatnot, Venom explains to Eddie that, hey, we can only bond to someone we're compatible with, otherwise the host will die instantly. Hence why in the first Venom, I believe Venom was attached to a woman who got on a bus, and he was just basically walking her corpse around to get to San Francisco. So yeah, there's that, because 5 people got symbiotes. Teddy Payne got a symbiote. Christmas got a symbiote. Some security guard got a symbiote. Some chick who had like all of 2 seconds of screen time got a symbiote. It's like everybody got a symbiote. I really expected, like I said, the whole Moon family to get a symbiote. None of them died from the symbiote. They died from the Xenophage, except for Christmas and Payne. The fact that this movie only takes place in a year, like the whole trilogy takes place in 1 year, is astonishingly stupid. Okay? That makes no sense whatsoever. Like, if it was time travel or something like that, then I would let it slide, because Back to the Future does that. Like, the events of Back to the Future are literally like 48 hours, but due to the fact that Marty's going back in time, forward in time, back in time, and back in time, and back to his regular timeline, that's why it slides. The whole Teddy Payne backstory of, her brother should have been the one working at Area 55 is just dumb, okay? And I hated like the first 10 minutes of Strickland and her just doing an exposition dump. It wasn't needed, because I'm pretty sure anyone who went into Venom: The Last Dance did not need to know all this random jargon that didn't help move the story at all. It was like, oh, these are the symbiotes from the Life Foundation. We know that. We saw all 3 Venom movies, unfortunately. So yeah, Eddie's back in New York, and apparently Reed Scott, who was Dr. Dan in the first 2 movies, voices the head of Imperium. So does that mean that Dr. Dan is the head of Imperium and he just been keeping tabs on Eddie all this time? Because why not get somebody else to do that voice of that character? But yeah, it made no sense to me. This movie is a 3 on the Blerd scale. And guess what? I'm angry. So yeah, movie was dumb. I'm glad, we're not getting any more of them. There was a waste of Null. And I'm glad this movie is not making a profit at all. Because what? Sony has done... How many Sony Spider-Man Universes movies have there been this year? Just the 2, right? Because Madam Web, that was Valentine's Day. Forgot that even came out this year. And now this. Let's go to the films real quick. So yeah, this and Venom. Yeah, and we got Kraven next week. I mean, not next week. This month? Does Kraven come out this month? When the hell does Kraven come out? Oh, December. So we got Kraven next month. So we'll see how that one goes. But I'm just like, yo, Sony, just let Marvel do all the Spider-Man stuff, like Peter Parker and adjacent. Oh, speaking of which, that's what I wanted to talk about. So apparently, Scoopers have found out information regarding Spider-Man 4. Let me see if I can find this real quick because I did not put it in my my show notes. So hopefully it is still in my my tabs where I save all my stories. Because Spider-Man 4 is allegedly being shot in the UK and is also supposed to be called Spider-Man Brand New Day, which is the follow-up arc of what happened with Spider-Man. Do I have it on the shelf? Oh, yes, I do. Hold on a sec.
5 minutes later.
The movie is called Spider-Man Brand New Day. It's shot in the UK, and it's supposed to basically be the follow-up to what happened in Spider-Man No Way Home. And the reason why it's called Brand New Day is because this controversial comic called Spider-Man One More Day is what led up to Brand New Day. So in Spider-Man One More Day, this takes place after Civil War. It's written by J. Michael Straczynski and art by Joe Quesada, although most people will say that Quesada wrote a majority of this after Straczynski walked away from it. So this story does what No Way Home did. It makes everyone forget that Peter Parker was Spider-Man. But in this book, they made Peter Parker give up his marriage in order to save Aunt May, because she got shot. Like Wilson Fisk put a hit out on Peter. He moved out the way and Aunt May ended up taking the bullet. So yeah, there's that. But so I don't know how accurate this is or not, but I'm just gonna read it. Like I said, I rarely get stuff from Scoopers, but this was an email that looks like it got leaked because I don't know who Rachel O'Connor is, but apparently she works for Amy Pascal and she may be getting fired. So this says, following the events of Doomsday, which is that's what they call where 2014 Thanos came and destroyed the Avengers compound and everything. Peter Parker is determined to lead a normal life and focus on college, stepping back from his responsibilities as Spider-Man. However, peace is short-lived when a deadly new threat emerges, endangering his friends and forcing Peter to reconsider his promise. With stakes higher than ever, Peter reluctantly returns to his Spider-Man identity and finds himself teaming up with an unlikely ally to protect those he loves. So they said that Andrew Garfield's Spider-Man, Michael Keaton, and Robert Downey Jr. are mentioned to join the cast. So I don't know how accurate that is, but I don't know. But yeah, directed by Daniel Destin Cretton. Producers Amy Pascal, Rachel O'Connor, Kevin Feige, Louis D'Apuzzo, and Mitch Bell. Writers Chris McKenna and Eric Summers. So, like I said, I'm not sure how accurate that is, but I saw that and I was like, I just can't let that slide and not tell people about it. So if it's true, we'll see. All right, what am I going to review now? Am I going to review The Penguin or am I going to review Agatha All Along? All right, let's review The Penguin, because this episode was a slow burn for me. This is episode 6, Gold Summit, directed by Kevin Bray and written by Nick Town. Why does the name Kevin Bray sound familiar to me? Anyway, So this picks up like a few weeks after the last episode, where Oz uses the old underground railroad. What's that? Railroad or the underground railway? Blah, 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 blah. The underground railway to start his criminal organization and regrow the mushrooms that he lost. So he's been making the bliss, and Sophia and the Maronis kill several of the bliss dealers as a warning, which basically makes Oz say, you know what, you can kill my dealers, but guess what we're gonna do now? We're gonna give this stuff away for free. Vic is confronted by one of his old neighborhood quote unquote buddies, Squid, who asks Victor to get in on this stuff, and Victor's being hesitant. He's like, I don't really have control over everything. I can make a few calls or whatever on behalf of you. Meanwhile, Sal and Victor, Sal and Sophia break into Oz's apartment to try to find him, but Sophia finds a picture of Eve, and Oswald's mom's condition starts to get worse because, as you guys know from watching the show, she's suffering from dementia, and that scene was just very horrible, where he promised to kill his mom if it just got too bad. Oz threatens a councilman to turn the power back on Crown Point, where they're hiding out at. He sets a meeting with the other gangs, the gang leaders, to like, yo, we're taking everything back. Victor tells Oz about everything that happened with Squid. Oz says, you take care of it. I got trust in you, okay? Victor meets back up with Squid, and he's like, can't do it, but I can give you some money just to pay you off. Squid's like, you think I won't in. And Victor kills Squid. So Victor gets his first kill, and he's obviously shaken up about it. So Oz consoles him and says, you did the right thing. Sophia meets up with Eve, and Sophia's like, yo, I'm not snitching on my man. And Eve's like, I'm not snitching on my man. And Sophia's like, you sure about that? Because my daddy was out here killing all your girls and framed me for it. But guess what? Oz knew all about it. So she flipped on Oz like quick, fast, and in a hurry. Oz finally got all the gangs to work together with the Gigantes, and Francis and Victor are dancing when the power gets turned back on, and Sophia is at Victor's house with the crowbar. And I was like, oh my God, how are we getting out of this one? Are we going to play Oz's choice? Is Oz going to save his mother, or is he going to save Victor? Because we got 2 more episodes left, guys. I was like, ooh. I'm like, damn, Eve, you ain't have to turn on him like that. Maybe he didn't know. Well, I don't know. Of course he fucking knew. He's probably helped getting rid of the bodies. Who knows? Yeah, it seems like Sal and Sophia are getting close to freaking making pasta together and eating spaghetti and shit. But I saw that and I was like, okay, woo, this is getting up there. Yeah, we got 2 more episodes of that. And speaking of 2 episodes, let's get into the 2-episode finale of Agatha All Along. So, episode 8, Follow Me, My Friend, to Glory at the End, which is directed by Gandaja Monteiro and written by Peter Cameron. We get like an integral scene where Alice wakes up and discovers that Rio is waiting for her and saying that, no, it's not my time to die. And Rio's like, you're a protection witch, right? And she was like, yeah, so, well, you died doing what you were meant to do. You protected everybody from Agatha's mom. We cut back to the present after, Lily has sacrificed herself and Jen's trying to get back to her. And Billy is also there with Jen, while Agatha is up top having a conversation with Rio about taking Billy because Billy's not meant to be here. He broke the rules, okay? He broke the rules. He should not be there. And Agatha agrees to give Billy to Rio, but Jen and Billy show back up on the road, and turns out they get back. The road is a circle apparently, so they get back to where they started, where all their shoes are. They put on their shoes, and they end up a version of Agatha's basement where grow lights are slowly starting to go out. And Jen finds out that Agatha was the one who bound her all those years ago. And since Jen knows that, Jen performed an unbinding spell. She got her powers. So she got what she wanted and disappeared from the road. Meanwhile, Billy and Agatha are the last two left. And Billy is still trying to find Tommy. And Agatha agrees to help him. So they figure out where Tommy's soul is. It's in some kid who got drowned by his quote-unquote friends. So he disappears. And Agatha is trying to figure out what her thing is. And it's about growth, apparently. So she had a flower in her locket with a piece of her son's hair. She grows that under the grow lights before the grow lights goes out, and she escapes. But then Rio shows back up and attempts to kill Agatha. But then Billy comes in, full wicked out, flying from above, gives Agatha some of his power. They both fight Rio, but Rio's like, Denzel, I'm leaving with something. I'm leaving him with something. It could be you or it could be you, but I'm leaving with something. And Agatha leaves, but Billy can finally get through to her. Because if you go back to WandaVision, Billy could not read her thoughts. He said it's quiet. And that's one of the reasons why he liked her. So he's like, is this how your son died? And Agatha kisses Rio and dies. So after that, Rio leaves. Agatha's body turns into a nice bed of flowers. Billy gets in his Subaru Forester, or is it an Outback? I can't remember, but it is a Subaru, so product placement. Heads home for his parents to be like, yo, where have you been? Okay, you just can't be gone for a whole day and not tell us anything. He gets upstairs. He looks around his room, and he's like, oh shit, I made the road. Because he's got like a picture of like the house they were in episode 3 that looked like, you know, it was like in the Hamptons or the Poconos or whatever. He's got a Wicked Witch statue. Obviously, he's got the poster of Alice's mom. Then he just hears boo and it fades to black. And that's where episode 9 comes in. Maiden Mother Crone. So this one comes back to the not the 19th. This one goes back to 1750, where Agatha gives birth to her son Nicholas, who was actually born in childbirth. And Rio was there, just waiting to collect him, like the dude from the Bones and the Harmony Crossroads video. But she's like, I'll make a deal with you. So she's like, yo, this deal, I will eventually come back to take him. So Agatha gets 6 years with her son. And the deal is basically Agatha has to kill witches in order to keep her son alive. But eventually Nicholas is like, yeah, this ain't right. And you find out that they make a song that will eventually become the Ballad of the Witch's Road. Nicholas gets sick and death finally takes him. Agatha just spends countless centuries murdering witches and stealing their power while making up the concept of the Witch's Road. So, down the road, down the Witch's Road, to summon the Witch's Road, which is all cap. And we find out that she was planning on killing Jen, Lilia, Alice, and that was it, right? Jen, Lilia, Alice. Yeah. And Ralph Boner's basement until Billy actually manifested the road. So then we jump back to the present day where Agatha is a ghost, and she confirms the fact to Billy that he made the road. It's not real. He also blames himself for the death of Lilia, Alice, and Shannon. But she's like, hey, at least Jen is alive. And Agatha's like, yo, don't beat yourself up. I was going to kill him anyway. And she was able to get her powers back because of you. And they go back to Westview. And Billy planned on banishing Agatha since, she was afraid of facing her son in death. But Billy was like, you know what? I'm going to use you as a spirit guide to help me find my brother. And I was like, this show was well written. We didn't get a big dumb superhero fight like She-Hulk said. We got a little bit of a fight, but at the end, Agatha submitted and welcomed death. Very good writing on these last 2 episodes. I forgot to say that Jack Schaefer and Laura Donnie wrote episode 9. And it was like, if you couldn't figure it out that Billy had made the road, Like, this was a theory I had like with like a few people when I was talking about the show, because like all the Easter eggs were there, and they showed them in episode 8. It was like Agatha saying, "You're so much like your mother. Yeah, this seems like only something you would make." The wink and all that stuff. So it was they were throwing it in our faces, and like a lot of people weren't catching it. I even had an argument with a friend. I'm like, "Bro, Billy made this road. Okay, it's right there. You're so much like your mother." And like the look on Agatha's face when the door manifested itself, it was there. But very, very good 9 episodes of television. I will buy this whenever it hits streaming. I mean, not streaming. Whenever it gets released by Disney. And congratulations to Margot Robbie. Apparently she just gave birth to her first child. Yeah, guys, that's it. So it's your boy Bernard, and that was another episode of the Angry Blerd podcast. Be sure to rate, review, subscribe, tell a friend to tell a friend. Next week I only have 1 episode of The Penguin to review. No movies. Didn't get to watch Mr. Crockett, so spooky season is done, so fuck that. If I watch it, it'll be on my own free time. Other than that, I'll see y'all next week. Bye.